17, probably.
Of Memory Leak.
Memory leak. We're back. Yes. Not saying dumb shit this time. Not saying last names this time. Okay.
This podcast is presented to you live in front of a studio audience in Orlando, Florida. My name's okay. Benjamin Drake to Benjamin.
And my name's Geron, redacted Geron.
And this is Memory Leak.
This is Memory Leak, dog. All right.
It's a podcast about games.
Something like that.
And the industry.
Sometimes.
State of the world.
Maybe.
State of the union.
Usually not that.
State of our minds.
State of our minds. That's right. What the fuck?
What's on your mind?
What the fuck is on your mind? Because I kind of led the last episode. You know what I mean? With my Sega Gomenesai brain rot.
I do. You've been playing a lot of Sega Genesis.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I've been playing Sega Genesis games. Did I mention I bought Streets of Rage 3 last week too?
Did you really? On what?
PC.
It's on PC?
Well, it's in a little collection of Sega games, and they sell them piecemeal, one by one for $1 each. And on
Steam?
Yeah, and on Steam, I just put the dumbass trading cards up for sale all the time. So I always have $2 or $3 just hanging out. So
and those are different from the Sega Ages versions, right?
Those are different from the Sega Ages versions. These versions are from 2010.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's just a ROM. I literally just bought a ROM. I can throw it into whatever emulator.
Is that's the one where it shows up as like a little CRT and you pick the thing? And
yeah. But there's a you don't have to use that UI on the Steam version. You can just have a little
load straight into the game.
Loads. Yeah, you just pick the game, load into the game. No cheats. No not cheats, but no like rewind. No save states. No anything like that. I just play the game normally. Streets of Rage 3 has nasty music, but I really like it. And people what
do you like so much about it?
The music?
No, about Streets of Rage 3.
Streets of Rage 3? Okay, I think the gameplay is overdone. Not overdone. I think it's overtuned. And I found out the US version is actually harder because of the fucking rental shit. Hate that shit. That shit sucks.
What rental shit?
Trying to prevent people from beating a game within a rental. But Sega Genesis games are built like arcade games.
Yeah.
You're gonna beat them in like half an hour once you understand how to play it. And by artificially lengthening the time you have to spend with it by making enemies hit harder, making their health, giving them more health and giving you less continues, that's not fun. Japanese version, much easier to play, much more in line with what the original design was. So it ends up being more fun. The music though is cool because it's experimental and it's a bunch of like random sounds put together. And it makes it went from making me laugh at first to being like, yo, what the fuck? This weirdness makes the whole game feel weird. And it already is weird because it's about like fucking body snatching androids and shit. And it's like, what the fuck is this? And I think it's cool. But how
does it compare to 2?
2 is better. 2 is a better game. Are you talking the music or everything?
Just everything.
The 2 is a better game. The music is more like actual music. But I think 2 being the way it is makes 3 interesting because like 2 plays it straight. 3 plays it
real weird.
Yeah, it's like real fucking strange, and I like it.
I'd prefer that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, if I had to pick to play one, I'd play Streets of Rage 2 every time.
Yeah.
Every time. But and I already mentioned Streets of Rage 1 last time. That one feels like an early Genesis game, but the jump from that to Streets of Rage 2 is insane.
Yeah.
Like 2 is so much more fleshed out than 1 that 1 doesn't even feel like it's on the same that feels like a Master System game compared to that, but yeah.
What about 4?
What about Streets of Rage? I forgot there was even a 4, but which is funny as shit because I did play it this.
Yeah, you've definitely played it.
I played it before. I played it all the way through, but then I fucked with it over the weekend. And
.mu, right?
Huh?
.mu?
Yeah. From .mu and I think a couple Tribute Games was the Ninja Turtles. It was Shredder's Revenge, I think. Well, whatever. Streets of Rage 4 has some annoying ass scoring shit. And the way the AI works is like sometimes they're a little too good. Like you can predict what they're gonna do, but there's sometimes they're a little too good. But the fact that the enemies bounce off the walls rips. That shit's good as hell. The way specials work, where you use them and you lose health, but you can recover that health as you attack enemies again. Good as shit. That means you can use your attacks just whenever you want, but you can't abuse them. Streets of Rage 4 is actually really, really, really good. You have to play it. I think it's better if you play it casually rather than trying to play it like trying to get the best scores and everything and shit. The and the Sega Genesis controller that you can get for Nintendo Switch
Works with Streets of Rage 4.
it'll work fine because Streets of Rage 4 has a setting called like Legacy Controller.
Oh,
and
that's
I don't
cool.
think it's specifically designed for that, but there are because the game is on multiple consoles, whatever. But there is a Genesis style controller released by Retrobit that is officially licensed by Sega. In fact, they're like basically replicas of the 6-button
okay.
controller, which is why Nintendo doesn't sell the 6-button controller here. They say it's because the 3-button controller was more common here, but no, it's because Retrobit.
Wait, what's 6-button controller?
The 6-button Genesis controller. Did you not know there was a 6-button?
I don't think I ever had a 6-button Genesis controller.
The Genesis had a controller that had 6 face buttons on it.
So other than ABC,
XYZ.
XYZ.
So you could play Street Fighter 2.
I see.
Yeah. And I mean, by extension,
Specifically
other
the
games.
version that's on fucking Switch Online.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know how Street Fighter 2 works with the 3-button controller?
Do you hold L and R?
What L and R?
There's no L and R on Genesis?
There's only A, B, and C and start.
You hold a direction?
No, bitch.
You hold select?
No, there's no select button.
What the fuck buttons were on the original Genesis?
A, B, C, start. That's it.
Just start?
Just start.
Jesus.
So what you had to do is you lose the pause functionality, and the start button switches your ABC from punches to kicks.
That's nasty.
And that's how I played Street Fighter 2 originally.
That's
how
nasty.
I had it on my Sega Genesis.
That's why you got mental problems.
Sure, yeah, that's why I have mental problems. Whatever. Skid marks. Nah, my mental problems are...
I have high adaptability for shitty control schemes, but
low adaptability for other humans bullshit.
Yeah.
And there's a few people that know what I'm talking about. But there's a dog barking right now. It's loud as fuck. So
Yeah,
you
she's
probably could
tweaking.
hear it.
Probably a fox.
It's probably
fine.
a fox.
We got all sorts of flora and fauna in
Yeah.
this area.
Beasts all over us. Altered no. I'm so I'm look,
Altered
I'm
Mr. Breast.
never gonna bring up Altered Mr. Breast ever again. But what the fuck was I talking about? The 6-button
So fun
controller.
fact, since we talked about Altered Beast last time, in that time span,
Yeah.
I've confirmed not only with my extremely normie family who don't really play a lot of games, but they were responsible for me growing up with both a Super Nintendo and a Sega Genesis and a regular Nintendo on top of it.
Yes, yeah.
They confirmed that yes, Altered Beast was in fact one of the original Pac-In games. And yes, that is the only reason people played it.
Yeah.
The game was not good. It was not good in 1989. It is certainly not good in 2024.
If you ask people, like I have Stockholm Syndrome now, so you can't
Yeah,
ask me
if you
everything.
look on lists, just like any list, pull up any list
Yeah.
of like top Genesis games or top Genesis games on Switch Online or really anything. Any
Switch Online
Sega
doesn't matter. That
Genesis
just got me
list,
thinking about it.
Alter Beast will be at or near the very bottom of
Yeah.
that list.
Yeah.
Geron somehow gaslit himself into thinking that
No. So
people thought this game was good, so he needed a reason to fight back against it.
Check it out. I didn't fight back again. I didn't gaslight myself. What happened was Sega gaslit me by including it every time there's a compilation, making me assume that is one of the essential Genesis games. So,
But hang on.
and then people talk about it. People talk about it. Yeah, go ahead.
There's got to be a parallel here for Nintendo for other collections, like collections that have like one consistently really shitty game that's
I
included
can't
in it.
think of that for anything other than Altered Beast. Anything. Period. Like maybe Sonic 1.
Yeah, Sonic 1
But
or
Sonic 1's, of course Sonic 1's going to be there if there's a compilation of say, but it's not even on Nintendo Switch Online where Altered Beast is.
yeah.
So I didn't want to talk about Altered Beast again. But but yeah, so
What
like,
about NES? There's got to be some bad NES games.
I mean there's some shit NES games, but they're never compiled in a way that makes me think it's essential. You know what I mean?
What about Lost Levels? I think Lost Levels is pretty shit
Lost Levels is there as like a check this out
as a bonus.
but Nintendo,
It was never a packing
Nintendo
game,
knows
yeah.
it's dog shit. That's why it's called Lost Levels every time. You know, any other time it's bundled with anything. Like Lost Levels is fucking mean spirited
Yeah.
and it's funny sometimes, but it's not fun. So
Now I got to look up like what are the most popular like bad games. Oh, there's actually a Wikipedia article for this. List
Really?
of video games notable for negative reception.
Interesting.
Well, that doesn't include popularity though, because that's
see, yeah, it needs to be popular because negative reception doesn't mean anything if it's not
Oh, here we
also
go.
considered popular. But then if that list is shit like Call of Duty, like of course people shit on Call of Duty, but I also can't like deny that those games are well made in certain regards. I don't play them like that, and Wee plays them. He loves it.
This is a funny list. I'm upset that I clicked on it because it's on Screen Rant, and Screen Rant is a piece of
Yeah,
trash.
it's cornball.
It's mostly AI generated bullshit.
Which a lot of these fucking sites are going to be like this.
But this list is
The
funny.
video
It's
website.
20 bad games that everyone played.
Okay.
Like the original Dr. Mario and Sonic. Oh, this is Sonic 06. are on this list.
Okay, I can guarantee not
Fallout
everybody
4 is on
played
this
that.
list.
What?
Which is kind of interesting. So let me get your take on this. Fallout the TV show made this resurgence of sales in
Sales
Fallout
of-
games,
of
as you
the
would
Fallout
expect.
games, the entire series.
Yeah, all of them.
including 76.
There were a ton of social media posts, especially on Twitter, where it's like Fallout fans that are hyped to get into the series only to buy Fallout 4, insinuating that Fallout 4 is
Or
like the bad one,
bad.
or quote, the bad one. Is Fallout 4 the bad? I've never played really much of Fallout games, to be honest.
See, I think all the Fallout games are janky, but that's Bethesda games.
Yeah.
Y'all already know I worked on this motherfucker, so I'm fucked up. But I can tell you how I feel about the game anyway. I think Fallout 4 is fine. I think these games require you to have an imagination, and I don't think the writing has ever been that good by itself.
Yeah.
I think Fallout 4 had the problem of following New Vegas, which a bunch of people were surprised by and loved. But I think New Vegas also is it's good. It's fine. Like, I'm not saying that it's not as good as people say it is or whatever. But I think that game has a problem where like the Sonic CD problem,
Right.
where people think it's the best one.
Yeah.
And then you play it
Sonic
and you're
CD
like,
kind of came to mind when you mentioned Sonic 1.
yeah, like
Because Sonic CD is like that, where it's like, it's in every collection,
yeah.
probably because of the novelty, but it's like, I don't think it's that good.
The problem with that is Sonic CD had a lot of really big had a bunch of really loud fans because not a lot of people played it because
Right.
you had to have a Sega CD for the longest
It was more
time
of a
to play it.
gatekeeping thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that once you finally do play it, you realize like these people just like it because they're the only ones who got
Yeah.
like I was reading what the fuck was I reading? I was reading something online and there was this dude he was praising it was about Dragon Quest V, that's what it was. This dude was praising Dragon Quest V, but specifically said I downloaded the PS2, I have the PS2 version with an
Of
English
Dragon Quest 5?
yeah, there's a PS2 version of it that was released only in Japan.
Why
And
is
have-
there a PS2 version?
I don't know, but there
Is it like remade at all?
yes,
Like 3D?
it's 3D, yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
So they and they had an English patch on it, but instead of just saying like this is a great way to play the game, they had to say you can play this instead of whatever the fuck that DS version was. It's like what? Whoa, man! The DS literally everybody was like, dog. What you should be saying is play Dragon Quest V,
Yeah.
not play this shitty little version that only I played. This version's special because only I played it because it's a patch with a download. But like, people get like that,
Yeah.
and I don't. It's nowhere near as ridiculous with Fallout New Vegas. Like that game was good, and Bethesda had the fucking or ZeniMax I should say had the gall to cut bonuses for Obsidian for developing that game because it came short of 85 on Metacritic or something like that. Bullshit, hot bullshit.
Kring.
But I'm just gonna fucking tell you, there is actual animosity between the people that work on the Fallout games that had worked on the Fallout games like 3 and things like that, and what Obsidian did. I was like, I don't know why there is. I think they should be learning lessons from that,
Yeah.
and they didn't quite do that with Fallout 4. Fallout 4 has better game feel than 3 or New Vegas. The RPG mechanics are watered down quite a bit because they included voice acting, which I think was not a good idea.
Mm.
I think with games like that, if you're gonna have a lot of
A
options for your
shit
player
ton
to
of
say,
text. Yeah.
you need to just let the text rip. You don't need voice acting for everything. I appreciate that they tried, and that wasn't cheap, but I don't think that was worth it.
Mhm.
And because of things like that simplify Fallout 4, I think if you come off of it thinking that you're going to get the experience, like the the pseudo not tabletop, I should say, but an RPG experience where you're worrying about character sheets and stats and how you distribute everything and making the story your own. If you do it the wrong way, then you're going to be disappointed because then it comes off as more of a first-person adventure game. Because the main quest kind of pigeonholes you into being a fucking like heterosexual parent, and you can't divert from that.
In Fallout 4?
In Fallout 4.
Interesting.
You're either a man or a woman married to the opposite sex.
With a child.
And you have a child. And your main quest is to find that child. And there's nothing you can do about it. Like in Fallout 3, at least, you're looking for your dad. So you can be anything.
Yeah.
Your dad is just your dad. Whatever.
Yeah.
But here you are the parent. And being the parent means that there's like a certain history that comes with you. Like
yeah,
you were a soldier
it's
in
a very myopic
the wars.
view and lens of a character.
Exactly. And that straight up for an RPG, that's pretty shitty.
Yeah.
That's pretty shitty. And I will never, ever deny that. There's nothing I could have done about it then because I was looking at memory leaks, not looking at, I said the name. I was looking for memory leaks. I wasn't worried about that kind of thing. I had no control over that. But damn, I'm talking a lot about Fallout 4, but it's relevant.
Yeah.
But I think the things the game does do right, like combat is quite a bit better if you're using more than the VATS system, which I think really got depreciated in that game. Like I would use VATS because it would center the camera on heads.
That's funny.
So I would tick it on, but I wouldn't use it. I would just turn it on, turn it off, and then hold left trigger and hold right. Yeah. I was like, that wasn't thought about. Like
this wasn't intended.
Right. VATS was kind of there as an obligation because it's a callback to the more like tactical turn-based style that the first two games had.
Yeah.
And it made more sense.
Wait, did 3 not have VATS?
3 has VATS.
Oh, okay.
But it's better in 3 because aiming and shooting in 3 sucks. And
I see.
But that's by design because what I think a lot of these RPGs need are more dice rolls. Fallout 4 doesn't have those dice rolls the same way that does. So where you get an improved feel of, like Skyrim doesn't have them either, but where you get improved feel for the controls and for the aiming, for the shooting, but at the cost of being able to cheese stuff, you lose that like RPG-ish stuff where instead of just like, oh, I hit harder with this gun that somehow hits harder because my stats are higher, you lose like, oh, my chance to hit goes up, my critical rate goes up, my this or that, or like I decide that my character doesn't need to shoot and kill, my character can talk its way out of the, you don't get those.
Yeah.
And that kind of sucks. But you again, a lot of these games involve using a lot of your imagination. And when I was doing just play testing, I would do shit like I had a dude named Vicelli's Pizza that I would take around. That every little like settlement he would go to, he would kill somebody and take their clothes. So he had like
you could put like a shtick to your character.
Yeah, he looked like Sinestro from fucking
that's nice.
Like Green
Lantern
shit. Yeah. Which Lantern Corps was he part of? Like,
I don't
was he
fucking
yellow?
know, dude. I don't.
Whatever.
Know.
It doesn't matter.
He was the red dude.
Yeah. But yeah, so he's walking around doing that. I was like, oh, this is fun. This is a fun way to play this. But then, do you get fulfillment from playing that way or not? Oh yeah, there you go. Oh yeah, he's okay. That's exactly what it looked like though. But
I pulled up a picture of Sinestro.
Yeah. But yeah, you have to figure out if, especially as an adult, do you derive fulfillment from treating your game like a plaything? And a lot of adults don't. They need goals, which the game gives you quests and a main quest, but then that main quest isn't amazing because you have very little agency in it. Some of the side quests are cool, but they putter out at the end because there isn't how many different ways can they end when you need to have voice acting, you know? Mm-hmm. You can't do this or that. But pulling it back, I think Fallout 4 is actually great for people that never played a Fallout game before.
It's a good entry point.
I think it's a good entry point because it's not.
I mean, Skyrim kind of is too.
Exactly.
Like
Skyrim and
you
yeah,
compare Skyrim to fucking Oblivion
Yeah.
and Morrowind,
especially
completely different games entirely.
if I gave somebody Morrowind right now, Morrowind or Skyrim right
Somebody
now,
that doesn't have that RPG or D&D lens
Exactly.
of the stat tables.
exactly.
Yeah.
If they're not used to the idea of looking at a chart to make their character do do mundane shit,
Yeah.
then oh my god, they're going to have a rough ass time, especially with Morrowind. Fallout 1 and 2, they'll probably have a hard time with. 3, not so much. But I think if I sat someone down to play Morrowind or Skyrim, they'd have more fun immediately with Skyrim.
Yeah.
Over the long term, after they got used to it, they could probably derive some fun from, like a lot of fun from Morrowind.
Yeah.
But from Elder Scrolls
If they're
3.
looking to go deeper.
Right, exactly. But they'd have to also get over the hurdles of game's ugly as shit. Well, the environments can look good, but the game in general is kind of ugly as shit now. It's very difficult to move. Modern PCs make that make the type look really tiny without modifying it. Playing the console version on Xbox feels really ghetto. You're just looking at me. But yeah, so number 3, Elder Scrolls 3, for all of the great things that it does as an RPG, there's a lot of things that are really, really hard to get over for
that haven't aged well
nowadays. Like I said, you can still do it, but it's work. And then even Oblivion starts with a more detailed character creation suite. It's you deal with more stats that are like, you can't just max out everything like you can in Skyrim.
Right.
Okay, let me back up. You can, but you can't. In Skyrim, you were encouraged to just have
Blast
a character
everything.
that can do everything.
Yeah.
And when you think of a role-playing game, you don't think of a character that can do everything.
Yeah.
You think of a character that
Plays a role,
even if you're not part of a team or a party or whatever, which usually when you have a role-playing game, you need some of that too.
With strengths also come weaknesses.
Yeah.
You can't just overcome every single weakness.
Yeah. And you'd have someone to cover that, but single player, blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying blah, blah, blah to you. I'm just
No,
like,
I know.
I'm
It's like a pendulum swinging in game design, because I think it's a symptom not just for fucking Bethesda games.
Yeah.
But every games have kind of gone back and forth between maximizing flexibility and the role playing elements versus providing maximum quality of life and things that people don't like.
Yeah.
It's actually one of my it's hard for me to call it a complaint, but thinking about, I'm almost done with my time with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I just like find myself reflecting on, not that there's a right or wrong answer or a good or bad thing, but just the difference in the fact that Final Fantasy games up until 13 didn't have achievement systems of any kind.
Right.
There was no concept of 100%ing a Final Fantasy game. There was a bestiary that was added with the Game Boy Advance versions of 4, 5, and 6. So in that way, there was something that you could fill out.
Yeah,
but
that's
other
almost
than
more
that,
for convenience than it is for.
Yeah, it's more like a cool little thing than it was
Yeah.
something that was encouraged to be done. But like, people had to make up their own definitions of what was 100%.
Yeah, that was self-imposed.
Yeah, and
mostly,
it was a lot. It was a lot of just like weirdness. Like, have one of every item in your inventory was a very common thing,
right?
Because there was really no other metric by which you could determine what 100%
what
was.
Everything was.
Yeah,
and it's like everyone's playthroughs are supposed to be different. You really, if you get 100% in these games, a lot of the time, you make the game really easy. Like you break.
Well, it also like removes kind of like any like mystery behind what else is in the game.
Yeah.
So, like in Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth, they basically give you very high quality of life to go and like do and see and consume everything in one file.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So it's like you go and you have like there's literally check marks behind each little like play log statistic. It's like, oh, have you gone and seen the date scene for every single character?
Okay.
Have you gone and like assessed every single enemy? Those things aren't even tied to achievements, but they're on a little list of things of saying like, here's how many there are in case you want to go do this, and we'll give you a little check mark if you've done it all.
And I prefer it that way.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. But I'm also thinking about how like in the past, I actually there was actually reasons for me to go back and replay games because
Yeah.
I couldn't do that all in
You
one
couldn't do it
playthrough.
all in one go. You're right.
Which a lot of people hated, understandably.
Yeah.
You know, prioritize people's time. It makes sense,
Mhm.
right? And but it's just it's a different. There's a different feeling evoked from it when
Yeah.
you're sort of free from the shackles of progress being tracked.
Yeah.
Just
I
the fact
understand
that progress
yes.
is being tracked at all, even
Yeah.
if it's not a percentage, even if it's not whatever it is, like the fact that there is something telling you what you have done,
Yeah.
like there's a subconscious element to that
Yeah.
that gets lost in RPGs, I think, especially because as
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned, like I would replay FF7 multiple times, like,
Mhm.
oh, let me try this party composition.
Yeah.
Let me try doing it this way. Let me try not using materia. Like there were different things that I would just like, you know, just sort of do naturally as I would just sort of re-experience the game.
You
And I have no reason to ever do that
Yeah.
now with like the new way
I
of
understand exactly
how
what you're saying.
games are
Okay.
designed.
Yeah.
So
And I like, of course, that's tapping into a human need to complete, like, to
Yeah.
finish
the dopamine,
tasks.
yeah.
Uh,
And people love that. I think
yeah, people do. Love
I think
it. That's what I'm
by
saying.
majority it's net good the way they've
Mhm.
done it. It's net good, it's net positive for people's time versus like the quote unquote value they're getting out of the
Yeah.
game and how they can sort of experience everything that they've paid for.
Yeah.
But there
eat
there
the
is
whole bowl of cereal
something
or a
there's
couple
something
box of cereal.
small lost in that
Yeah.
has to be sort of that's sort of concessed. It's a concession
Yeah.
as part of this,
Yeah.
migration into the new world.
And I think the advent of people making fucking walkthroughs for these games the week of release and shit like that.
Yeah.
I think the to combat that, a game has its own the checklist in the game. So at least if you're curious as to what's in there, you can just look in the game. But at the same time, I understand like spoilers can fuck up your impression of a game because now you, at least in my opinion, there's a reason why it's called a spoiler. Like in a show or a movie or something like that, a spoiler almost completely fucks a twist and it's kind of over for you. But you
Yeah.
can still watch it play out. In a game, for me at least, it affects the way I see the tasks that I'm doing. Now it's a means to an. I want it done. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I don't care about the. Well, it's not that I don't personally care about the discovery, but it's that I feel like I'm being rushed to do it because now I'm behind because I know what's ahead.
Yeah.
And which is kind of why I like why Breath of the Wild doesn't show you the map percentage until
Right.
until you beat the game.
Yeah.
But so yeah, going.
I mean,
back
that's
to
how
what-
Rebirth does it too. They don't show you the play log until you've beaten the game.
Nice. Yeah. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And I think going back to the way RPGs like are made, I think what the fuck was I gonna say? I think too much quality of life can
It can
nullify-
remove some of the wonder and mystery and
It's-
flexibility.
Yeah, it can remove what makes certain things about playing a game interesting.
Yeah.
Like a dude I work with was telling me he finished Breath of the Wild in like 3 days. I was like, sure, but he's the type of person that checks how to do everything on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like he asked me how I figured out how to do the divine beasts, and I was like, you just do it. You just do things. You just do things and see what works. And there's a certain type of person that doesn't want to do that.
Of course. I mean, you can't please everybody all the
Yeah,
time with
but-
every option.
Yeah, and there's people that treat their entertainment like a checklist. And if you do that, then like playing fucking Fallout 4 is gonna on one hand be cool. The checklist is pretty easy to get through, but on the other hand, it's kind of like deflating because there's just really not much for you to insert unless you're willing to.
And I think that's part of
Create that for
also
yourself.
what I'm getting at. It's
Yeah.
deflating in the sense that it shines a light on every little corner that would have otherwise been worth investigating.
Yeah.
It's like when you already know the limits of what's there, there's no reason for you to go like explore or try something different
There's
or
no
do
reason for you to-
whatever.
Yeah, there's no reason for you to try to check. Like he was gonna pick up Tears of the Kingdom, the dude I was talking about, and I was like, don't fucking go on YouTube. Don't do that immediately.
Yeah.
Just fuck with shit. The whole game is meant to be fucked with. It's just enjoy your plaything, and we're all gonna die, so just take your time. You don't need to rush it so you can get to the next thing, really. But yeah, but to speak on Fallout 4, just to end how I feel about it. I think the game is fine. I'm glad that people are getting into it and getting into it as their first experience with Fallout, because they'll have more in-depth experiences around it after that. And I think Fallout 4 it certainly serves its purpose as being a good place to start, which, it's a little reductive when you've got when it's the fourth, the number 4, and that's the entry point. So is every game going to be even easier and easier and less, have less and less pushback, less and less RPG to deal with? Who knows? But it's not my fucking problem anymore, so I don't give a fuck.
How did Starfield approach the RPG elements?
Starfield approaches it in so Starfield has a lot of problems. I think Starfield.
Let's start there.
I don't
know if we've talked about Starfield.
We haven't talked about Starfield. Not if we talked about it, it's just like, I played it on Game Pass and then I accidentally
beat it.
Well, I beat it and then I accidentally got all my money back for that Game Pass subscription because it was so quick. I ended the Game Pass thinking I was going to get the month, but instead they just ended it right when I canceled it and gave me my money back.
It's really funny.
I was like, that's not what I meant. But I think Starfield's issues come from a misunderstanding of what people are looking for when it comes to something that is called an RPG. It's not people aren't looking for a big world. They're not looking for a ton of worlds to just walk around on. They're looking for a world with a lot of stuff going on in it.
Yeah.
You can have a world that's as big as like the fucking field in Ocarina of Time. But if you put a bunch of shit in, like, that field feels big when you're a kid, but that shit's tiny.
Yeah.
In comparison, if you put a lot of things to do in it, a lot of caves to look for, or something, then it's way more exciting. Like Skyrim's world is much, much more exciting to explore, even though a lot of stuff is cut and paste. There's things to do. There's things to find. There's enemies to find. There's stuff to discover, and you discover it at a pace that feels like you aren't having to really plan out these intergalactic routes just to go mine some rocks. Because that's what Starfield's problem is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places where there's nothing. It's procedurally generated, not randomly generated, but
right.
A computer basically designed a lot of these places. And it's like, what is there to find? So you find places to set up, like,
so the issue is with the
facilities.
core gameplay loop.
The core gameplay loop. But then, because of that misunderstanding, the RPG mechanics are like, you get perks and things like that, like you do in Fallout, or you could do in any RPG, but it's specifically like the way it works in Fallout. But you get stuff for normal. I can't even think of examples, but in order to do certain basic shit, you have to level yourself up into it.
I kind of remember that. Like, somebody mentioned, like, you have to be a flight level in order to even go to, like, the next area.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I didn't level this up, so I guess I'll stop playing.
Yeah. So it's like, they want you to feel like you have to create a character that can do a certain thing, like in a role-playing game. But they don't, instead of giving you more things to look forward to, they take some things away.
They limit
from you
when you can
and make
do.
you select them to get them back, and that doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
It feels like you can't do anything, and then your perk, when you look at that perk board, your thing's gonna be like, damn, I want to pick locks at all, so I guess I gotta
sacrifice.
I have to pop this one because
Yeah.
there's so much shit I just cannot do at all. I can't do this.
I can't keep playing the game without this.
And the whole flight thing to go to other planets, it's like you have to get a level up so you can have enough fuel to go from a planet to another distant planet. But it's not that. It's really easy to cheese, which is what I did. All the planets are close enough to each other that you can kind of just dot the line. So if you do that, then outside of a couple of main quest missions where you need to build your ship with certain parts to actually make a space jump or whatever the fuck it's called, you can just forget the fuel system altogether and just dot the line on the map to get where you want to go. And that's part of the misunderstanding. You can't just limit things by having RPG numbers on it. you have to provide some purpose. And there's these planets with nothing on them. So instead of me going to the planets and like finding cool shit or like finding fuel or something like that, nah, I just pretend I stopped there and then go to the next one. It's like
how
a
would
gas
you
station.
which one do you think is worse, that or the cookie cutter Ubisoft open world design?
I think the Starfield one is worse.
Interesting.
I think that at least the Ubisoft shit is like,
You have stuff to do.
there's stuff to do, and there's stuff to do, and it's closer together,
Yeah.
and you can usually see the next thing to do from the one you just did. I think there's a reason why the Ubisoft open world design is the way it is.
Yeah.
This is fucked because when I did the interview for Bethesda, they shit on Ubisoft the entire time.
That's really fucking funny.
isn't it?
That's really fucking funny.
But what was it? The AC went off, so now that feels like it's quiet in here. Yeah. It's designed so you can see the next task. Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom are both like that.
Yeah, they're all intentionally designed that way.
Batman, Arkham Asylum, Arkham, even kind of Arkham Asylum too, but Arkham City and Arkham Knight are just like that.
I really wonder what people are actually criticizing when they lambast something for having quote unquote Ubisoft open world design.
Yeah.
Because they said the same shit about FF7 Rebirth. Like exactly what you said about what people want. They want a world that feels lived in, that has stuff going on and things defined.
Yeah.
FF7 Rebirth, as far as JRPGs specifically are concerned, I don't see any game doing more in that realm than FF7 Rebirth does. So when people criticize it, I'm like, what the fuck do you want? Like, I don't understand. Do you want an open, empty world like the original FF7 had with random battles that you don't know when you're going to get into? What the fuck do you want? I don't understand.
Like, and a lot of people, it's not their fault either. They have this feeling that they want to like push the medium for, or push like what they're enjoying. They want better from it, which is completely acceptable. But they start to miss what's right in front of them because they're trying to look so far ahead that they just make something up beyond the fog rather than understanding the thing that's right in front of them actually is what they wanted not even 2 years ago. You know what I mean? They have it and they're holding it and they're enjoying it and they want the next thing to be a certain way, but something in them thinks they know better, but they don't.
Yeah.
So the only way they can manifest that feeling is by complaining. It's speaking of Zelda. It's the same like when the same people that are like, oh, I want a big epic Zelda game. And then they get it. It's like, wait, where are the dungeons? It's like, the dungeon is the whole game, dude. Like, it's something's got to give, and you have to believe that the game designers, especially of stuff like this, tried the thing that you thought of. It probably was one of the first things they tried.
Yeah. It's like, how do we get the best of both worlds? I'm sure is like the first question.
Yeah. And a lot of the times a feature that you think should be there isn't there because they tried it and they decided this isn't in the vision. This isn't fun. This isn't very good.
Because I keep talking about FF7 Rebirth just because I'm getting near the end of it and it's all I've been touching over the last month.
Yeah, that's fine.
So unfortunately it dominates my part of the discourse.
Yeah.
But there was a really funny thread where the designers were talking about how in the original FF7, there's this iconic thing in the mansion where it's a spiral staircase and it's a bird's eye view.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And they're like, we really wanted to replicate this. We know it's something that everybody sort of thinks of when they think of this part of the game.
Yeah.
And this viewpoint and this sort of experience of descending.
Yeah.
And we tried all these different ways to try to do it, and it just didn't really work out. You have to go up and down in this area a couple different times, and it's just like, it never felt cohesive, so we had to do it a different way.
Yeah.
And all of these armchair fucking gamers come in and like, well, you could have just done it this way and it would have been great, and you could have done it whatever. And it's like, bruh, you just missed exactly what they said. Like,
they tried it. Exactly.
How are you not understanding what's literally being said right in front of you?
It's one of those things where it's like, why don't they tell us more about the process of the making? Because when they do, you don't listen.
Yeah.
Like they're telling you, it's just not there. But yeah, no, it's and my thought is the way the game looked originally, with the big, I don't like saying chibi models or whatever, but the big like chibi models of Cloud and shit like that.
Oh, just the polygonal,
the pre-rendered backgrounds and shit.
Wait, are you like walking around the overworld
in the original game? Yeah. Like that.
With the blocky arms.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That kind of shit. Just there's different on the PlayStation. You were working with different shit.
Yeah.
The noise of the detail in the new game and having a manually controlled camera, especially.
Yeah.
It's like
That's what it was. It was the camera.
yeah. It's just there'd be too many inconsistencies to get just this one little part right.
Yeah.
So you change it. The Resident Evil remakes do the same exact kind of thing. There's parts that don't make any sense to keep them the way they are because the camera is in control of the player and it's not, not pre-rendered backgrounds and static camera angles. It's strange the amount of things that people complain about.
I'm excited for you to play Rebirth.
Yeah, okay.
I'm excited for that day.
I'm gonna borrow your PS5.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
So. It's it's a funny. People are funny, and I am glad this conversation went the way it did because I didn't know what the fuck we were going to talk about, but we got somewhere.
We did.
But like, do you have anything else that's like on your mind in this regard? Because I'm
not really.
I kind of gave you my answer. About
the other thing I was thinking about. You mentioned Dragon Quest V. Have you started Dragon Quest V yet?
I started. I played like 10 minutes of it.
All right, but you have started it.
I have started it.
All right, maybe that'll be the next game I play.
Yeah,
I need something to pick me up out of the fucking funk that post epic game funk.
Jesus.
Because like there's that sadness, there's that sort of like what's next.
Yeah.
Like damn, I just spent like almost 200 hours of just consuming, squeezing every ounce that I wanted out of this game, and I got it. I got everything that I wanted out of this fucking game.
That took 4 years to come out between the last one, which doesn't feel like it, does it?
Glorious. I had a glorious time with that fucking video game.
That's good. Fucking Dragon Quest V is funny because I drive myself everywhere, and the best time for me to play those games is when someone else is driving.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how to set up a situation.
Yeah, because you're on your phone, right?
I have it on my phone.
Yeah.
So and like I don't take buses or anything, and I'm not going to be on a plane anytime. Well, at least I don't think I'm going to be on a plane anytime soon. Maybe it will be. Who knows?
For what?
I don't know.
Okay.
Something surprising.
For Evo in the summer?
No, I'm not going to Evo.
Why not?
It's gonna be smelly.
It's in Vegas.
Hot.
Resorts World.
And I don't practice enough for that to really be worth my.
You gotta go for the community.
I can do that. I can just tell Jeff to send my regards.
Zerp.
Yeah, you don't need to out him completely as.
Yo, hit up Zerp.
Oh my god! All right. But yeah, nah.
I don't like the main character design of Dragon Quest V. I'll say it.
You don't? You don't like the little?
I don't like the.
What about 8?
8 is I don't have strong feelings about 8. I do think it's a little like derpy, I guess.
I think both of them are goofy as hell.
Yeah, they're both goofy as hell.
I kind of don't mind it.
I don't mind it. Like I'm not like offended by it.
Yeah. Okay.
But I don't think they're nearly as strong of designs as like any of the others.
Yeah. Have you played all the way through 5?
Incredible.
Before?
3, incredible. Even 11, incredible with that goofy ass fucking Trunks hair.
11. Once you get used to that fucking Android 18, like Super Android 18 ass fucking hair.
Yeah.
Or 17.
Trunks.
No. Let me show you what I'm talking about.
No, yeah, it's the black hair, right?
It's the black hair.
That's 17.
Yeah.
18 is the blonde.
I think he has more of the shape. Well, I guess.
Oh no, I guess it is 18.
I guess Trunks gets the long hair too, doesn't he? So yeah, that whatever. Then Trunks hair. Fuck it.
It's the Akira Toriyama long straight hair for many characters.
Yeah. I like Dragon Quest 8. 11's 11 himself. His outfit is ridiculous. Like the green boots with the sewn green top on it. The purple.
I think the outfit's kind of tight.
But once you adjust to it and get used to it, you're like, oh, it is kind of.
The outfit never stood out to me for 11. It was always just the hair.
That outfit was always weird.
It was just the hair for me.
Used to it. Okay. I think the hair was the most like
normal,
acceptable part. It's just brown hair.
Yeah, but it's like a bob.
Yeah, but I mean,
how many people you've seen with hair like that? How many epic adventure heroes?
Dog, I've seen
adventure warriors.
There's so many spiky haired JRPG characters. I'm glad this one wasn't it.
I mean, I agree.
Yeah. So that was cool.
Jarring.
Like, cool to me. Because the fucking.
I think 4 is fucking hot fire.
4 is
3
cool.
and
4
are both so good.
I'm glad 4.
One is
in
standard
Smash
classic.
Bros, actually.
Yeah, 3 and 4 are both.
Loto is in there with the fucking not Loto. Solo is in there with the fucking the sword and the fucking the earrings and shit.
Zenithian sword.
Yeah. Damn, four has a good like color palette too.
Such a good color palette. That
the
teal,
white and teal, and
yeah,
and the female, both female and male.
yeah,
have
they
the
look good.
Yeah, the
What does
teal
6
hair.
look like again? I can never remember what 6 looks like.
6 looks.
7 is also goofy as hell. I guess they're mostly goofy as hell.
All the bandana ones are goofy.
Yeah.
7, but that one's like a little kid with a green thing. 6.
Wait, did you say Bayonetta?
No.
All the
I said-
Bayonetta ones
I
are
said
goofy?
All the bandana.
Oh, bandana. Yeah.
Bandana or hooded. 6 looks.
Oh, 6 is standard.
Kind of generic. Yeah.
Yeah.
His hair's white, right?
It's
like
blue.
bluish white. Yeah. Oh, it's just blue.
It's just blue.
Oh, it's just straight blue. Yeah. But he has the spiky. Yeah. I don't think about 6 as often.
Most people don't.
Yeah.
Most people don't really care that much for 6.
Yeah.
And then 9 is had like a make your own character, right?
9, you play as like little angels, basically. But 9, yeah, it's like a creative character. Though they do have a main look for the character.
Yeah,
He's
on the
like
cover art.
He's got like red armor. No. Oh, yeah, okay. I think
Yeah,
10
it's-
has the red armor guy then.
Yeah, 10 is red.
Yeah, okay. Like Sentinels of the Starry Sky is 9, right?
Yeah, that's 9.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, that's what I was thinking of.
All right, that was the only other question I had. What were you gonna say? Did I derail you?
What was I gonna? I don't know what I was gonna say.
You asked me if I had anything else.
Yeah. I asked you. There wasn't anything specific I had to say. I was gonna go with whatever you were.
You got to hire
thinking about.
fans.
Go ahead.
Are we done for today?
I mean, we can be. We let it rip.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right.
What's our time right now?
45 minutes.
40. Oh, that's a little shorter than you. I thought it was gonna be longer. That's
It's all
funny.
right.
I mean, that's perfect.
Yeah, it's
that's all
good.
right. It's a shorter.
We don't need to drone it
denser
out.
episode.
Yeah, that's right. My hire fans for today. For those who don't know this content creator, his name is Pan Coic.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It's been a couple days since this came out.
Yeah, it's
but
been like 3 or 4 days, maybe
fuck,
more.
what's his? I think it's 2012. Pan Coic 2012.
Yeah.
So it's this guy who has an obsession, a very specific obsession.
deep-
I feel like I've mentioned him before.
You have to have.
He's in an obsession with Mario 64, and he has for many, many years.
Yeah.
He has basically reverse engineered. It's not even reverse engineered. He's dug into like the source code of Super Mario 64 to such a thorough extent. He probably knows more about Super Mario 64 than any living person, I would say.
Yeah.
Probably
That's
more,
including the people that
including
made the
developers,
fucking game. Yeah.
including the developers. I would say he probably is the single individual person that knows the most about this game and how it functionally works more than anyone else. Anyway, he has 2 channels. First of all, he has a main channel that he voiceovers.
Yeah.
And those are sort of like his sort of like higher production quality, like more images, more graphics, and more production to the videos. He also has uncommentated videos on a different channel where there's no voiceover. It's just kind of raw
text.
dumps of like the work,
the
work that he's been
text that
doing.
he's gone through to make to
The various
shit
game
out.
systems that he's been like stumbling across and learning about, and he'll like put bounties on things that he can't figure out.
Yeah.
But it took about a year, but he finally uploaded a new video, and it's 4 hours long, explaining why sometimes in Mario 64 you'll dive or you'll hit an invisible fucking wall, and it'll fuck up some speedrunners sometimes. And they'll be like, why the fuck did I just run into that wall? I never run into a wall in that spot.
Yeah.
Anyway, he takes 4 hours and he explains it all. I watched half of it so far. And by watched, I mean I had it up and listened to it.
Okay.
And I actually learned some things about game development that I think other developers could learn from, like how vectors work and how different different surfaces are programmed.
Yeah.
And how characters interact with them.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, these videos are fucking tight. The amount of effort and like thought and research that goes into them, like extremely valuable videos. I know they're very specific to Mario 64, but if anybody is curious about what goes on under the hood of any game, like the mechanics and whatever it is, like the amount of things that get programmed or have to be considered or have to interact, like this channel is such a good little microcosm of getting a taste of that and like what developers kind of have to go through and suffer through and you know munge through,
seeing how many different things touch each other,
and
how
much can go
difficult
wrong.
it is to like how much you have to go through to suss out what of those things that are touching makes the one thing one weird thing happen.
Yeah.
Like it could be something totally unrelated. So
And there was one glitch because he was also obsessed with this very specific type of run in Mario 64 called the A button challenge.
Yeah.
Where you see how many A presses it'll take to get through the game.
Yep.
And they had this record for the longest time, but there was one glitch that they found on like one or two speedrunner videos that they could not find a way to reproduce. They only had like one or two recorded instances of this ever happening.
Yeah.
Of all the hours of footage of Mario 64 on YouTube, one or two instances of it. And so he had bounty after bounty after bounty
To
set out
catch
for
this.
people to try to find a way to reproduce it. And I think they eventually did, and it removed half an A press from the
it's the half
run.
A price. Yep.
So this is the kind of shit we're talking about here, where this guy is on a
Button
mission
up, button down.
basically to understand every single minor little glitch that or bug or defect or whatever you want to call it, interaction that exists in this game. And this is shit that, like, you know, if it were to happen to somebody, they would probably just throw up their hands in 2024 and be like, why wasn't this game tested?
Yeah. Who tested? They're like, man, fuck off.
Yeah. So that dude rules. Huge fan of his work.
Yeah,
go give him some shit.
Yeah, I think his ability to analyze something and keep on it for as
that
long and
focus.
as much with as much focus as he does is a valuable skill for not just video games, for probably a lot of
The government should hire
significant
him.
kind of problem solving. It just depends. Like, I wonder what he has a passion for outside of it.
He probably doesn't.
Because like if he does, I'd like to know. But if he doesn't, then I'd like to see him cultivate something to
But even if he doesn't,
know.
there was a comment on this video that I really liked.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to find it. Basically talking exactly what you mentioned.
Mm.
Oh, here it is. He no, this isn't it. This isn't it. Somebody basically mentioned exactly what you said, where they were like, "Oh, at first I was like wishing he would do more with his life." God damn it. I'm so sad that I can't find it now. But basically they were saying exactly the same thing you did, where it's like, at first I was wondering, oh, how could somebody spend this much time on just like, oh wait, here we go. I found the comment.
Okay, go ahead.
Somebody said, I was expecting an entire 10-minute video of the section dedicated to TikTok clock. He spends so much of his fucking time analyzing TikTok clock. There's so much weird shit that happens in that level. And then he goes, having now finished this 4-hour video, I reflect on just how shallow my expectations were. This video had some of the funniest one-liners, beautifully heart-tugging moments, and accomplishes all of this while being a technical marvel that never stops presenting engaging educational material about one of the most important cultural landmarks of our generation. People always say, this man could accomplish any world problem, and instead he's making videos about Mario 64. And meanwhile, I'm left here thinking, if this man has all this passion to keep making these beautiful videos in such a creative and entertaining way, why would you ever want to force him to do something
anything
else?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Don't let anyone else tell you what value you should hold to the world, because your work inspires people in more ways than you could ever know. You have a beautiful soul, and at this rate, you have my undying support. Maybe a little over the top, but I like the sentiment there, where it's you probably wouldn't be able to channel it as effectively on something if he didn't care that
as
deeply
the way
about
he does.
it.
And we wouldn't know who the fuck he is, probably.
Exactly.
If this you know, just the series of goings on that happened to put this person here to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like the
It's
existence of YouTube, the
It's
existence
a
of the
beautiful
game.
little thing. Yeah.
But, okay. Yeah.
Hire his
Yeah,
ass.
we're both coughing.
All right. Let's, as Sean Evans says, roll out the red carpet.
Yeah, the sun is literally set, so let it rip.
It never sets on a badass.
Never did that bet.
All right. If you like this, give us a
All right.
like, a comment, subscribe. We're on YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, and iHeartRadio. Shoot us an email at memoryleakpodcast@gmail.com.
Did you say YouTube?
I said YouTube. That's
Okay.
the first one.
Okay. Sorry.
The recast.
Go ahead.
That's it.
All right, we're good.
We're Gucci.
That's
All
good.
right,
Have
till
fun.
next time.
Watch X-Men. It's a good show. X-Men 97. It's fun.
All right, chill.
Shut the fuck up, bitch.